Hello guys, today I'm interviewing Alec Wilkey, a boxing trainer with many up-and-coming prospects. Who should we talk about out of your prospects first? Should we talk about Ray Bear?
Yes, yeah. It's a bit of a gutter for Ray because Ray's supposed to be boxing tonight.
Yeah.
And obviously the board has cancelled the shows, which I don't disagree with. I do disagree with, because I think if you'd have asked the Queen if she would have cancelled horse racing, she probably would have said no, because she knows what goes into getting horses and trainers ready for a race meeting, and the same with getting fighters ready. So, yeah, we was all ready to go tonight. He was bang on weight, sold all his tickets, and Steve Goodwin, the promoters, took a big hit money-wise again. He had a bit of a shocker a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember, the ambulance didn't turn up and whatever, and he done loads of money on that show, and he's obviously done loads of money again, on tonight's show at short notice. So yeah, but Ray's Ray's 1-0. No, he's 2-0 now. This would have been his first 6-rounder, and he's coming on well. A lot of people, when he first came to me, said he's a crazy man, which he can be at times, but he's settling down and he's learning and he works hard. He's got a garden maintenance firm which is Bear Maintenance. We'll give them a mention in case anyone's listening.
Didn't Ray Bear fight Robbie Chapman?
Yes, he did. Yeah, and had a really good fight with Robbie. And Robbie's gone out and just had a couple of wins under his belt, hasn't he?
Yeah, 2 wins in a row.
Yeah. So he did fight Robbie Chapman. Fought Jordan Granham in his first fight. And so he's had 2 good journeymen, and he's performed well against both of them. So, we're hoping for, bigger things for Ray soon, as I say, but we need to get these boys out and get them active.
Yeah, so when do you think, will you be trying to work with Steve Goodwin so you can get Ray out on another Goodwin boxing show?
Yeah, the problem is with Ray now, he's had a bad knee. He's got a meniscus problem in his knee. And at short notice, they've told him they're going to operate on it this week, which will be next Friday. So we already had Ray penciled in for a show with Steve in November, because I don't know if you know, but a lot of promoters ain't running in December because of the football. So so Steve's doing a couple of shows in November, and Ray was on one of them. I work closely with Steve. We've been friends for a long time. When Steve first came into it and I was at the TKO. So Steve found a space on one of his shows for him. But if he has this knee operated on next week, then he's going to be out for 6 or 7 weeks before he can run and whatever. So the problem is now with this football going on, he probably won't box now till probably March. So, but yeah, he's ready anyway. So yeah.
That's a shame. Who was he meant to fight today?
Martin Shaw.
Oh, I've watched him fight a few times.
Yeah. So, like he comes to have a little go, and that's what we want for these kids when they're learning. And then obviously after this one, we was going to start putting him in 50-50 fights. So.
Also, one more fight with a journeyman, and then he wants a 50-50.
Yeah, because he's capable, like some of these boys, what happens with a lot of them, they just protect them all the time, they get to 10-0 and ain't fought anyone, but they ain't going anywhere. So really, you've got to see whether they can fight or whether they can't, because we don't want to just get him to 10-0 fighting plums all the time. If he's going to go anywhere, and if you want to get him into a southern area position, the board will look at who he's fighting, and, they might say, listen, he's fought the usual suspects. He ain't beat anyone of any quality, so he can't have a shot. So, yeah, you've got to try and manoeuvre them into a position where they're fighting regular and fighting decent fights. So that's what we want to do we'll do with all of them.
Yes. And now we'll talk about Dean. What's he called? Dean
Gardner.
Yeah, he's got a fight on the 30th of September, has he? Your call?
Yeah. We're just waiting for an opponent to be confirmed for him, but this is his first 6-rounder, and he's had one 4-rounder where he fought Jordan Graham. Jordan was much bigger than him, but that was the week after Steve had lost the money on the big show where the ambulances didn't turn up. So he said to me, look, can you do me a favour and let Dean fight Jordan? So Jordan came down a little bit. We let Dean go up a little bit. And we put them together because Jordan was massive against Dean, but Dean is a good fighter. So he performed really well against Jordan. So I promised him if he performed well, then I'll give him a 6-rounder in this next one. But he's well capable, Dean. He's going to be a good fighter.
And he sells a lot of tickets because I was at his was it his debut against Jordan? Yeah.
He does sell tickets. I'm lucky that all the boys sell tickets, really. And always have been. I've had one or two that haven't over the years, like many years. But generally, most of my boys have always sold tickets. And if they can sell tickets at this early stage, which they need to do, then they can fight regular. And that's what sort of annoyed me a bit with Eddie Hearn after the Joshua fight, saying he's under pressure. Listen, all top sportsmen are under pressure, but the boys that are under pressure are these boys that have got to sell their tickets, because if they don't sell their tickets, they don't fight.
Yeah.
So that's the pressure these boys are under, not the pressure of counting 25 million quid on a Monday morning.
Yeah. And then isn't Tommy Murphy fighting the same night as?
Yeah, Tommy Murphy's fighting the same night. He's a massive ticket seller, Tommy. I think he sold about, it was either 250 or 270 tickets for his debut. Wow. So of course the promoter TM14 and Mo Pryor, they want him all the time. So he's on that bill with Dean. The only trouble is it is a Friday night and it's a struggle sometimes for a Friday night. So I won't do that again and take a Friday night for him because, the show starts around 5, 6 o'clock. And as you know, a lot of people won't finish work at that time. So, we won't do that again. But, he's a massive ticket seller, Tommy. And he's a good, slick southpaw. Only young. So he's got a lot to learn. He's only about 21 or something like that.
He smashed it in his debut.
Yeah, no, he looked nice and tidy, and that's the main thing. If you talk to anybody about the way my fighters fight, they all fight the same way. They're all compact, everything behind the jab. I don't like to see fighters getting their head stuck up in the air when they're going in or coming out. I'm obsessed with defence, and if you're at ringside, you'll hear me keep shouting "shape," which means get their hands up. And they, as I say, he's coming along really well, Tommy. We're really pleased with him. Because when he first came, I didn't know whether he'd be cut out for the pro game because, to be honest, I don't know. He's very young still, so we're looking after him. We're not going to let him run before he can walk.
So on the 30th, is it another 4-round fight?
Yeah, he's fighting Lee Hallett on the 30th. So,
okay. Tough journeyman. Yeah. We're going to put, we're not looking for someone that he's going to bowl over because what these kids don't understand, it's no good going out there and knocking someone over in 1 or 2 rounds because they ain't learning anything. When they're starting out, it's more important to get 4 or 6 rounds under your belt. You don't want to be, 10-0 and ain't gone past 2 rounds because, when you do get in a fight with a tough guy, you've got no experience. You can't buy the experience of a good tough 4 rounds or 6 rounds. And that's what we're looking for him. So, listen, he won't stop Lee. Tommy's not a puncher. And Lee, if Lee turns up, Tommy's going to have his work cut out. We know that, but that's the chance we're taking with him. Yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
What about Zoe Hunter-Smith? Because she's coming off of a defeat to, I think it was in Sunderland.
That's right, yeah.
To Jordan Baker Potter, was it?
That's it. No, the other way round. Jordan something Baker, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
But that was a real 50-50 in her.
Yeah, it was. Tom Stalker, who's a manager, rang me up and said, and I'd never met him or spoke to him before, and he just said to me, Al, what do you think about putting Zoe in with Jordan? So I said to him, give me 10 minutes, let me have a look at her. So I looked at her and I thought, listen, she's a game girl. She ain't going to be a world beater. Let's hope she is, because that's easy done with the girls, because I had a girl that was world champion and she'd only had 9 or 10 fights. So with the girls, if you can excel, you know, a little bit, then you can go places. And I said, listen, it's a 50-50 fight. Let's do it. We agreed the money, agreed the time, the weight. And Tom said to me, he said, I've never dealt with anyone so easy to make a fight. Well, you know, let's get it on. Let's put them together. And we went up there. Yeah, she won the fight, the girl. But Zoe was a bit lazy. And I told her so. I'm one of these people. I only tell them the truth. What you got to do is you mustn't blow smoke up fighters' asses. Tell them they're great. Tell them they're this. And that's a bit of the problem that went on with Joshua. He had yes men in the corner that didn't, you know, really, as a trainer, you got to roll them in. You know, there's people telling him in the corner that he was, you know, he's winning every round. At the end of the day, you got to tell them the truth. You got to say to them, listen, you're 2 rounds down. You need to get your ass in gear and whatever. So, and I only tell them the truth. She didn't work hard enough. It was a fight she could have won, but she just stood off the girl too long. And with Jordan being a long range, you know, puncher, she, you know, she had the best, the good spells in the fight with Jordan. It wasn't all one way. You know, she didn't outright. She lost the fight, Zoe, but she wasn't bashed up. She was, you know, it wasn't all one way. She had her spells, but the most of the good spells went to Jordan, and that's what won her the fight. But Zoe didn't work hard enough, and I told her so as well.
And she needed to work extra hard to get the decision, because I think Jordan was fighting in her hometown or something.
That's right. Yeah, she was a home fighter. She sold the tickets. And, you know, when you go away to these things, you know you've got to knock them out to get a draw in some places. I ain't saying that would have happened in Sunderland, but she needed to work hard and be convincing, you know, and she didn't do that.
Did Zoe sell tickets for that fight?
No, she had a couple of tickets for her family, or a few people went. Her mum went up there, and a couple of guys she works with, they went. So she didn't have to sell tickets. She sold a few tickets for it, but yeah, she didn't have to sell tickets because obviously as the away fighter, she was getting paid. So
yeah. But what do you think's next for her? Do you think she'll have a fight before the end of the year? Yeah,
we're trying to get her a date now. She's not struggled to sell the tickets the last one. She can sell the tickets. She can sell 3.5 grand worth of tickets. But what's happening with these journeymen now, and especially the women, they're because there's a limited amount that can come in. They're asking fortunes, you know. So the last we had her on the Steve Goodwin bill, and Steve rung me and said, "Listen, Al," he said, "we'll help her out with the house money because Steve, you know, he does that for fighters." He said, "But they want 3 grand for the girl to come."
Really?
You can't pay 3 grand for a four rounder, if you don't mind, 4 twos. And we just said, no, we ain't taking the fight. Just we'll have to scrap it. But because there's a limited amount of girls, it's a struggle to get fights. And then when you do fight,
the other girls want more money to fight.
Yeah. So they want more money to come here. The foreigners want more money. You know, it's not the girls, it's not the boxers. You know, because the boxers just do what they're told by their managers and their agents. But the agents now know that because there's a shortage of girls, they can ask what they want, and let's see whether they pay it. So where we would have normally paid for a 4-rounder, maybe 1,100 quid to the fighter, and a couple of £100 expenses, you know, to fly them in and keep them here for the night. So you're looking at £1,400, maybe £1,500, depending where they're coming from, for a 4-rounder. All of a sudden they're asking 3 grand. So, you know, you just can't pay it. Because she sells 3.5 grand worth of tickets. Time she pays the 1,500 to the girl, the money into the house, she's fighting for nothing. And you know, no one wants to do that. I mean, listen, there is stages in some boys' careers where you say, look, you just box the other month. You might not sell enough tickets for this one. We'll pay the house money, pay the opponent, but we need to fight. We're not interested in getting paid. We need you to be active. So there is times where you do that, and you think, you know what? He's only going to get a couple of £100, but it's another 4-rounder or 6-rounder in his belt. Then we can move on to something else. But what's happening with the girls now? As I say, they're just charging too much money, so we ain't going to pay it. So
we'll see what happens with Zoe.
Yeah, she's just come back off of holiday. She was in the gym yesterday sparring with a young girl from Jamie Williams' gym named Sarah. So she's got to get herself fit again. She's got a little bit of weight to lose where she went away on holiday, and then just basically be ready. Because what's happening is, you never know what someone might finally say, "Oh, is Zoe ready for next week?" And if she is, then we go and take the chance. That's it. So yeah, it's a matter of getting her in the gym and keeping her ready.
Is this what you want Zoe to be in, like 50-50s?
Well, because that's what I'm saying. Because the journeymen are too much money, she ain't getting a chance to sort of learn her trade. Because that's the idea of these journeymen, that the boys are learning their trade. They're getting used to, fighting with no head guards and small gloves in a big hall, and then they're practicing what you're teaching them in the gym. So you want to. That's why we take these journeymen early on in the pro career, but then after a certain amount of fights, you want to step them up and think, right, it's sink or swim now. You can either fight or you can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with her.
Yeah. What about Liam Wells? Because I think he's back out. What's the date? I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's on the 30th with Tommy and
Dean.
Tommy and Dean. He's with Jamie Williams. Jamie Williams is his trainer, but I'm just helping out, just adding a few things to his repertoire. Just not tightening him up a little bit. Sometimes Liam can be. He just concentrates on just hitting people. You've got to be more than just hitting someone. You've got to be accurate. It's like he's had 8 or 9 fights now, Liam.
Yeah, he's 7-2 or something.
Yeah. I just see things that he needs to just not be so crazy. He pins someone to the ropes and all he keeps doing is hitting them. And it's not just about hitting them. It's being accurate, pick the body shots, change your angles and opening them up a bit more. So I'm just working. I'm helping with Jamie. Jamie's his trainer, but he's where Jamie's busy with the colleges sometimes in the morning. He's a top coach at the colleges, Jamie Williams, down here in Essex. So the days he's busy, Liam comes into me and I do a bit of pads and he spars at mine anyway. So yeah.
That's good. So is he going to be fighting like in a 6th rounder?
Yeah, he'll have another 6th rounder because he's just come off a loss. Got beat by
Jack Martin.
Yeah, which was not a fight he was supposed to win, but it's one of the faults with him. He comes out sometimes with his chin up. Jack chopped over right hand over and just knocked him out. And all credit to Jack. He boxed well that night. No one was winning outright winning the fight at that time. I think it was like the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Caught Liam, and that's what we're working on. Just a bit more defence and being a bit more aware of what's coming back rather than just throwing punches and let's see what happens, which he does sometimes, Liam.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you've been a bit. Well, he fought in March. Was it Luke Ramsey?
Oh, Luke. Yeah, Luke is. He struggled to sell the tickets on one of the last shows I had him on, so we had to pull him off. But he's training with Mickey Burke. He's back in the gym now training, but he's been doing a lot of work. So because he works down in Dover. So what Mickey said is, like what we say to them sometimes, if they ain't got a date with these boys, because they need to earn money. Say for instance, like now Ray might be out with his knee. We always say to them, look, go to work. If you haven't got a date, go to work, earn your money, get in the gym when you can. And then when you've got a date, you've got to be in the gym. So Luke was doing a lot of work. He's working well with Mickey, getting good reports. I manage him for Mickey Burke. He's also a good trainer, a good friend of mine over in Bexley. He's got Shaq Day, a couple of other little fighters over there he's looking after. He's got some good little fighters. So Mickey's saying he's back in the gym and he's looking good. So as soon as he's back and he's fit, then we'll get him out and we may even put him straight into a 50-50 fight rather than try and sell the tickets and let's see how he gets on.
He drew his last
fighter, Luke. Sorry?
I said he drew his last fight.
Yeah, he was winning it and then just switched off. Let the kid back into it. He just sort of switched off halfway through the fight. And just let the boy back in it. He was winning the fight and just lost his way a little bit. This is what I'm saying about taking these journeyman fights. The the journeyman just come back, had a little go with him, and he didn't answer. So that's, you know, something Mickey knows to work on. His concentration a little bit more. I think his fitness is good. He's always running and whatever, and when he's in the gym, he's regular. But he just lost his way in the fight, which is a learning thing. And that's why we, as I say, we give them these journeymen early, so we can take that away and go, right, this is what you didn't do. This is what you did do good. But this is what you didn't do. Keep your foot on the gas, whatever. And that's what got you the loss or the draw. So, yeah.
Should we, let's talk about Mickey O'Rourke, who's came up short in his Southern Area title against Connor Marsden. Yeah. What? Did you
we're not sure what's happening with Mickey yet. Sorry?
Did you have Mickey winning the fight?
No, I didn't have him winning the fight. That's what I said to you. I tell the truth. If I thought we won it, then I'd say I thought we won it, or I thought it could have gone either way. But no, Mickey didn't win the fight. The referee made it. The scoring was diabolical. It was something like
98-92.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that far apart. But, you know, Mickey probably won a few rounds. I didn't make him lose nearly every round like the referee did. But, you know, I ain't screaming about that either. At the end of the day, he lost the fight. Whether, you know, whatever the referee scores it, the referee could have scored it 98-99 and he still lost. So the scoring's immaterial. I mean, it is, you know, a slap in the face when it was as wide as it was. But I could have had that fight a couple of months earlier with Connor Marsden. And I thought, you know what? It's not really, he's not the type of fighter for Mickey. Mickey's a tight, come forward fighter. I must admit, on the night, Connor was better than I thought he was, you know, especially coming off a loss, which was a big thing for him.
Yeah, like Adam Azim KO'd him in the first round.
That's right, yeah. And as I say, I thought he was better than I thought he was, but Mickey was just come up short. He was chopping right hands over, just missing him. He was in the fight. Mickey had some good spells in the fight. But I didn't take it earlier for that reason, because he's so tall, Connor. I didn't realise how tall he was, actually, because Mickey's quite tall for a lightweight. Mickey's something like 5'11", but Connor's something like 6'4", something like that. So he was still, you know, a lot taller than Mickey. But listen, we had a game plan that we could have beat him. But as I said, I didn't take it earlier on for that reason. And then when the offer came again, listen, Mickey's 32 now, 33. We can't keep holding. We can't sit and wait too long for him. So we thought, right, well, he's got the chance. Let's give him the chance. We thought we could win it. We thought, you know, we didn't take the fight thinking this is a step too far for him, because he's a great little fighter, Mickey O'Rourke. And we took the fight thinking he's not our ideal style, but sometimes you ain't got a choice. These title fights come up, you know, sometimes you have a bit of luck where, I mean, when Danny Connor won the Southern Area, he fought Chris Evangelou. It was a fight we knew we could win. But sometimes you get these title fights and you think, you know what? If I had a choice, I wouldn't want to fight him. But there's a title at stake. Let's go and let's do our best. And that's what we've done with Mickey. You know, it wasn't a fight we thought we could win it. It was, you know, there wasn't any time where I thought, you know, we're taking this fight, but we're not going to win. And sometimes you do get them niggly things in, you know, title fights where you think, you know what, he's got to work hard here to win this fight. But I thought, you know, Mickey could have won the fight, and that's why I took the fight. But it wasn't to be on the night. He fought well, Mickey. But Connor, I mean, I must say, Connor impressed me. He was better than he was, well, better than I thought he was. Yeah, so that's why, you know, we come up short. Which Mickey's not sure whether he's going to fight on. If I had my thing now, he probably won't fight on again now. He ain't been back in the gym since that fight. He said a lot of work on. So, yeah, we'll see what he wants to do. But, yeah, that was a shame with that fight.
Yeah. Because one of your fighters, Rod Douglas, is it? He's got on the Joe Joyce bill.
Yeah, I was talking to Alfie Warren a couple of weeks ago, and he said I might have a fight for Rod. So I said, okay, what you got? So he said, is Jim Hegarty, good boy, his name is. Again, I looked at him. Hennigan, that's it. Yeah, I'm a nightmare with names. I have a system in my gym because I'm so bad, considering I'm a cab driver, a black cab driver, and I remember all the streets and things in London. I'm a nightmare with names. So I have a system in my gym that when someone new comes, when I go like that, that means I've forgotten your name. So when I point to someone, they say, "Well, oh, my name's Bill," because that's how bad I am with names. But yeah, this fight with Hennigan, I looked at him and went back and same thing. It's a 50-50 fight. If Rod works hard, Rod can win this fight. It's one of them. You know, Hennigan's
6 rounds.
It's a 6-rounder. It's Hennigan's first 6-rounder. So they've obviously been protecting him for a long time. So I think is he 6 or 7-0?
7-0.
Yeah, all 4 rounders. So yeah, it's going to be a big opportunity for Rod. Rod's been out for quite a while. He came to me from Johnny Eames. Johnny, when Johnny moved to Spain, he asked me to look after him, and then obviously I took over the managership now. So he's been in the gym for a couple of years with me with nothing happening. He didn't get his medicals, he was working and whatever, and didn't get the money for his medicals. Now he made up his mind he wants to go. So we got his medicals done just before the board put the prices up. Yeah, and this opportunity's popped up, which is a massive opportunity, getting decent money for it on a big bill. So yeah, we're going there on the 24th, and let's see what happens. He's training hard, Rod. He's running and doing his stuff. He's looking good in sparring. So yeah, we could cause an upset there.
Is it on BT Sport? Like, will he get?
Yeah, it will be, but because it's on the undercard, I don't know what BT do now. Whether they show the whole thing early or what. He'll be on obviously early. I wouldn't think he's not going to be on after sort of 7 o'clock. He'll be on before that, I would have thought.
Yeah, because there's loads of title fights on there as well.
Yeah. So it's depending what BT decide to show, as to whether it be on actual, television. But yeah, it's on that bill. So listen, anything could happen. If it's a good fight, they might squeeze it in somewhere, like they do sometimes, or squeeze it in at the end. So yeah, it's a big opportunity for him, and let's see whether he steps up to the plate. It's as simple as that.
Let's
we can
hope
only do
so
what
anyway.
we do. Hey?
And let's hope he does.
Yeah, because like as trainers, we can only do what we can do for them, and then at that point we go, right, there you go and do what we told you. Obviously the good fighters step up to the plate and do it, and let's see whether we can. He's had 6 or 7 fights.
Yeah.
And got a great record, but as I say, it's a good fight back for him.
Is this your first fight working with him?
Yeah. As I say, he's been in the gym for about 2 or 3 years. He came well before lockdown, or it might have been the beginning of the lockdown, so it's a couple of years. And Johnny moved to Spain and said, look, would I look after him? So I said, yeah. And then that's how Mickey O'Rourke came as well, because he was Johnny Eames' fight. It was with Johnny. I think he was 6-0 with Johnny when he came to me. But Johnny was, he opted to move to Spain, and then Mickey said, after training with me, wanted me to train him and manage him. So we had a meeting with Johnny, and Johnny was okay with that. So yeah, that's how Mickey came as well. So they were both Johnny Eames' fighters from the old TKO.
Oh, okay. I know you don't. I don't think you train Idris. Your brother does, doesn't he?
He does now. Yeah, we had a split a little while ago. Just walked out the gym one day, never spoke to me again. So it's one of them. And my brother left, and I phoned him to train him, and he said he would. So yeah, that's it. They just do their thing, and that's it.
Wait, so you used to train ID?
Yeah.
Oh. Did you see his Southern Area fight?
Yes. Yeah.
He just got
And
caught with a great shot.
I knew that would be the result. Really, if you'd have said to me what's going to happen in this fight, I'd said he'd probably stop him in 4 or 5 rounds. So, yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah, because the other guy was like younger as well, quite a bit, like more fresh.
Yeah, he was. He was game, and he'd come to have a little go, and that's it. Yeah, he caught ID at the end of his career, and listen, this boxing game is all. People say, we want to see him fight him. We want to see him fight him. It's not all. Fights ain't made. And that's why, as you know, being a little boxing fan, that some of the big fights back in the day wasn't made, because boxing's about the right fights at the right time. sometimes they're unavoidable fights. You know, you get two champions that are just head-on collision. And then other times you think, right, you know, when you look at like a great example is like Ricky Hatton and Costa Zoo. You know, Costa Zoo was at his end of his career. Ricky was in his prime. And, you know, listen, he had to perform on the night, Ricky, which he did and was fantastic. But that was the right fight at the right time for Ricky Hatton and the wrong fight for Costa Zoo. And that's why he retired at that time. And that's what happens in boxing. It's not about, oh, I'll fight anyone. If you talk to a fighter and say, listen, you know, you're fighting him, they go, yeah, that's all right. But as a trainer, you go, well, hold it a minute. We don't want you fighting him because he's just too good for you at the moment. Let him have another couple of hard fights and then we'll fight him. So it's about plotting a fighter's career. And that's what, you know, people like Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren are good at. Steve Goodwin's good at it, you know, plotting his fighters. And that's what good managers do. They plot their career. So when a fighter's, you know, gets to 10 or 12 and 0 and they go, oh, yeah, I've done this and I've done that. You know, I had Johnny Cole, who was a great fighter, Johnny Cole. You're too young to remember Johnny Cole, but won the prize fighter, Johnny. But, you know, again, him and Danny Connor, we plotted their careers. We didn't just go, oh, get in there and fight. Because that's not how boxing's done. You just pick the right fight at the right time. So, yeah. And that was the wrong fight for ID. But
Do you think
know,
ID?
It was his last throw.
Do you think ID will retire now, or?
I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. If he was asking my advice, I'd say yes. And it's, you know, sometimes people don't like to hear that from a manager or anyone. But I would think I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. So I don't have nothing to do with him. But yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other fighter that we haven't like talked about?
No, that's all I've got in the gym at the moment. Yeah, so we've got Dean, Tommy, Ray,
Zoe,
and obviously Liam's in our gym at the moment.
And
we're
Rod.
helping him out.
And Rod as well that we spoke
And Rod,
about.
yeah. So yeah, this is about the 5 of them.
Good stable at the minute.
It's what?
I said it's a good stable you've got.
Yeah. I mean, I've been lucky, really. It's a decent little stable of up-and-coming pros. I had a bigger stable when we was in the old Lansbury because I had Johnny Cole, who was, you know, prize fighter champion, Southern Area champion, Danny Connor, Southern Area champion, Alpha Herman, who was Southern Area champion. We had Richie Gray, you know, Imran Hussein was a good little fighter, Lewis Smith. We went to 6-0 from nowhere because Lewis was like a rubbish amateur, and we sort of, you know, looked after him, and he got to, I think, 4 or 6-0. End up boxing on the Channel 5 show, and when he came to me, he had about 13 amateurs and lost 10 of them. So, so I had a bigger stable when I was in the other place. But yeah, listen, it is what it is. The kids come and they go, and you know, we're just sticking in there. But yeah, it's a busy little gym. We have loads of people coming in sparring. Mickey Burke, as I say, is a good friend of mine. He always comes over with his boys once or twice a week. Jamie Williams brings his boys in. Sab Leo's been in. He ain't been in for a little while, Sab, but Sab used to come over regular. Mickey Moo's been in with his boys for the last couple of weeks. We're helping Sam Entry with his fight.
Against Eku?
Yeah, Aaron rang me up and said we got some sparring, so they've been coming regular. So, you know, and it's good for my boys because, you know, people like Ray, Liam, Rod, they're sparring with quality fighters like Samuel Entry. I don't know I can't remember the kid's name that Mickey Moo's brought in the last couple of sessions. He's bringing him back. Dean sparred with him yesterday. Fantastic spar. Tommy sparred with him. So it's good for my fighters. I like, you know, the boys all come into our gym because we got the big ring in our gym. You know, not a lot of gyms have got the big ring, and we've got like a big ring in our gym. So people like to come to our gym, you know, for the use of the ring, and then we mix them all in. You know, Will Jones was down last week. He brought 3 or 4 fighters in from, you know, do you know Will from Edge? You've been into Edge?
Yeah, I've been there before.
Yeah, so Will come down with 4 or 5 fighters last week. Young D, she had a good spar with Zoe. And they're sparring next week. I spoke to Will yesterday. He's coming back next week with his squad. So so all the boys are getting, you know, good sparring. So
which is good.
It's a busy gym, yeah.
Yeah, I want to say a massive thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, and you, young man, nice to speak to you. After you've
Thank you,
pestering me for so long.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad we've finally done it, mate. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, good man. All right,
Bye, mate.
see you soon.